Let's challenge a few sexual myths or reframe a few terms we use when we refer to sex. And I want to talk in this video about a foreplay technique that I consider to be the best foreplay technique for all of us all the time. And that is making sure that before entering into some kind of partner setting or intimate setting with somebody else, that you intimately connect to yourself in the sense of I'm fully responsible for my own ecstasy and I'm fully capable of tapping into my own ecstasy. I'm not saying that this is simple and I'm not saying that this is what I do all the time, but it is something that our nervous system is wired for. Living in some kind of bliss and gratitude and being vibrating out of aliveness, out of life force itself all the time. It's us somehow being conditioned as lazy adults, having some glimpses of ecstasy twice a week, and when our partner exhausted himself or herself for that. And that's not our potential. So how about that? That before we go into any kind of foreplay technique with anybody, we make sure that we enter this partner sex setting in a very rich, very ecstatic, very satisfied state already. What would shift if we would meet our partners in intimate settings and we would already be so full of ourselves that we can just start sharing instead of needing, instead of demanding, instead of expecting? We are not so demanding and bossy and dissatisfied in our sex because this would be our nature or our design or our nervous system. We are coming from this demanding and dissatisfied and frustrating state in sex because we are coming as sons and daughters of a sexually starving and starved culture. It's something of us feeling so helpless, overcoming our own kind of dissatisfaction, of longing for ecstasy and not knowing how to enter those states, that we then are taught by culture, by Hollywood, by porn, whatsoever. You just need the right action, the right foreplay technique with the right partner. And let's face it, we never have the right partner and the right foreplay technique or sex technique at the same time. Almost nobody of us. So how about that? Letting go of all of this project that is somehow mission impossible anyway, and diving into a radical sense of self-responsibility and also self-authorization of entering an ecstatic state before. So I know ecstasy is a big word for all of us, and that's okay because we are coming from a deeply unecstatic culture. The good news is we are born as ecstatic beings, so the oldest information in our nervous system when it comes to touch, when it comes to sex, when it comes to being alive, is this is an ecstatic adventure anyway, full on. So under all those layers of culture, there is a pretty healthy and intact layer of, no, I'm ecstatic at all costs. I will die ecstatically. So let's tap back into this with something that is the oldest and most effective and most sober medicine on earth. And that is whole body shaking. If you want to touch the soul of your partner, make sure that you go into this process or go for this longing by shaking in your whole body. Shake every cell of your own body. It sounds so simple and it's so difficult because we are somehow conditioned as adults to shake a little bit twice a week for a moment that we then call orgasm, and that in many cases is just an ejaculation. So how about withdrawing from those words of sex or merging or cosmic orgasm and coming back to something so sober and simple and so old in evolution, at the same time being so close to a whole body orgasm or to whole body ecstasy for you, for your partner, for whomever, and that is shaking with your whole body. I would have to have now another setting with this camera and with this frame and setting, etc., in order to show you exactly what I'm meaning. The best news for now is I might be able to show you how to shake with your whole body, but every mammal, every other being than a human being can show it even better to you. So I will post under this video a video of the link to a video of a polar bear who shakes exquisitely. He is shaking some kind of trauma out of his nervous system. And that's exactly what you will be doing every day as the best foreplay technique before the best foreplay of your life. Shaking your whole body. Let's call this shaking getting rid of cultural sexual trauma, as long as someday, one day, you will just do your daily ritual of having a foreplay to foreplay, shaking your whole body out of trauma, out of stress. And suddenly you will fall into, this is fun. And if you shake your whole body in fun, you will shake your whole body sooner or later in ecstasy. And if you know that before you enter a sexual setting with somebody else, you will provide the most ecstatic, soul-touching space for your partner, because you enter the sexual setting without any kind of neediness, being so full and vibrant with yourself that you somehow can't even hinder yourself from, with every touch, touching the soul and the whole body orgasmicness of your partner. And I think that is something that is a foreplay, and the foreplay of the foreplay, and the highlight and the best afterglow on earth.